So we'll do this week's vlog on the porch. I don't know if I've showed you up close how it got painted. I used a little bit of a shiny paint. I don't think it was shiny before, but that's okay. It's all good. So it's early morning, like 8 a.m. I guess I slept in, which is nice. Usually I end up getting up at like 7 or 7:30. I need to mow, but there's still dew on the grass everywhere and my back has been hurting, so I don't want to push it. It's been a week and a half since I've mowed. Usually I don't get it together to mow until it's been 2 weeks, so maybe we'll see if I feel like mowing midweek, if I'm stretched out and warmed up and capable of doing it like Wednesday after work or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm up here because it's early morning, and if I go to the garden, I'll get bitten by like, I don't know, at least 30 mosquitoes. I don't know why everybody else's garden isn't a mosquito pit and mine is. I put mosquito dunks in the carnivorous plants, so it doesn't, I don't know where they're coming from. And I refuse to spray like broad spectrum insecticide all over everything, so I guess it's fixable by modern chemical means, but I don't want to do that. And this year my garden is kind of terrible, right now it's just once the sun really gets going in the middle of the day, there's lots of maypops, and I have like 5 noodle beans that finally grew in, and that's about it. Fallen over sunflowers and no tomatoes still. One of them is blooming, but no tomatoes have set on it because when it started blooming it was 100 degrees out, and they don't set if it's over 90, so it's kind of a loss. But thankfully this year, when the neighbors with gardens here have gone on vacation, they let me, one of them I watched over their garden a little bit, but the other time they went on vacation, and the other neighbors that are on vacation told me, oh hey, go pick whatever's ripe, because it would end up rotting anyway, right? So I've gotten tomatoes and don't mind the hair, I just got up, literally just got up. Tomatoes and cucumbers and what else? Petty pan squash, mostly spicy, and maybe like 3 half a kiwi size sweet peppers. Cucumbers from the other one's garden too. And I think that's it. Not to diminish that, it was a lot, it was a ton. I have enough salsa to suit my salsa needs because I love salsa, and I made patty pan squash relish. It's supposed to be zucchini relish, but zucchini is a summer squash and so is patty pan squash, so in my mind it's the same thing, so I made it. And it has white skin, so the relish that I made is interesting. It looks like confetti, so it's the white skin remained white, it didn't turn translucent or anything. So there's the white, and then I also put different colors of bell peppers from the store in it, so it's like a nice jar of confetti with red and orange and yellow and white. And then the onion in it is translucent, but still it'll be good to eat. The cucumber relish that I had made with the first round of cucumbers that I got from the neighbor's garden, the cucumber turned translucent. You can't really see the skins in there, or maybe they're dark enough that they just kind of blend in with everything else. And then the onions turn translucent too, and I think I put red bell peppers in there, so it's like a clear with red specks gloop. What else? The other neighbors that are on vacation right now told me to pick the garden, so they had those patty pan squashes again, so I have a couple in my fridge that maybe I'll cook with today. And they have like an orange cherry tomato this year that I picked from their garden, so I still had bell peppers from the store, so I finally made a non-spicy salsa, and I spec'd it with some sort of basil that has purple blooms for my garden in it. I didn't keep the labels on any of the basils because somehow I always intend to label everything in my garden well, and then it just kind of falls apart when I plant it out. Maybe next year will be different. It probably won't, but maybe next year will be different. So I made a sweet salsa to refill the jars from salsa that I'd already eaten. So, what else? Since when I had family visiting, they loved the bean salad as much as I did, and we killed half of it. So I got things from the store to make a bean salad with again yesterday, and I'm gonna try to do it today. My back hurts pretty bad, but if it warms up and I feel better a little bit later, then I'm definitely gonna make bean salad. I don't know why green beans are so expensive at the store, and then I didn't think that I'd have enough noodle beans to actually fill in for the green beans that the recipe calls for. You know, maybe I should have looked for yellow wax beans while I was at the store too, because the recipe calls for those. I didn't even think to look. Usually they don't have those fresh at the store though. I don't know. Maybe they used to when all the recipes got written for it, and now they don't. Who knows? One of the problems that I had though yesterday when I went, the first store that I went to go get some canned beans, because I don't want to spend my day boiling pot after pot of beans from dry beans, right? There's only so much you want to do when your back really hurts. Cans, the cheap cans of beans that used to exist. They used to be 69 cents for a can of beans for like since I moved here 3 years. Suddenly they were like $1.29 or $1.39. It's like, wow, this inflation is so bad it's even gotten to beans. And then I looked online, and it's just that store, the one that's closest to me, that has them for so expensive. The store that's 5 minutes longer drive, but in kind of a different direction, still has them for 69 cents. So I stocked up on a couple extra cans of the cannellini, I think that's how you pronounce it, cannellini beans. And I never eat chickpeas, but I picked up 1 can for the bean salad. And then the green beans were as expensive as all of the other stores. It was $6.99 for a big bag of them. And I picked up a couple more bell peppers, yellow this time. My first batch of the bean salad, I used a green bell pepper. This time I'm going to use yellow. And I picked up some red onions too. I had some yellow onions, and hopefully I have enough, but I picked up some red onions. I guess I'll see what the recipe, I keep the proportion of it the same, but because I don't have the yellow wax beans, right? I keep the proportion of the fresh veggies the same. You know, the first batch, I think I might have used a little bit more canned beans than the fresh veggies, but since you quickly boil those green beans and the peppers and the onions together anyway, then it's probably fine. Because the recipe calls for celery, and that's gross. That stuff is gross, so I'm not putting it in my bean salad. So yeah, I'll make bean salad today. I guess I'll walk through the garden later to see where the noodle beans are at and pick those. The first batch of them that I froze, I found 8 of them in my garden yesterday. They're long. They're like the length of my arm from my shoulder to my wrist. That's why they're called noodle beans. I guess they call them galaxy beans. I got them from I think it's called Southern Exposure or Southwest Exposure or something. It's actually a seed shop that's online here in Virginia. So I don't know if I have even more noodle beans today. I'll favor the noodle beans over the green beans when I measure stuff out to put it in cans, and that'll be exciting. But whatever's left over from those noodle beans, I'll put in the freezer again too. So the last cucumbers that I got out of that neighbor's garden too, I chopped those up into big circles. I don't know why one neighbor's cucumbers are completely disgustingly bitter and the other ones are nice and sweet, but whatever. I chopped them up so they'd be gigantic circles, so I have a big bag of those in my freezer. And then what else? They had some okra too. Oh yeah. So I put that into slices. Last year I froze them whole because I didn't know what to do with them, but then I found out that bindi masala exists, and that's sliced okra. So I still have maybe like 5 okra left over from my garden last year that I'll make into, maybe that's an idea. bindi masala and some patty pan squash on the side, maybe some rice. Maybe that's lunch for this week. So, I still have a couple of those left from last year. I'll eat those up, and then I have the ones from the neighbor's garden that are in my freezer too. I have a small, the size bag that TSA lets you through with. Is it quart? It might be quart size. So I have a small bag of blackberries, the last blackberries that I had picked from the yard here, and now I'm starting a bag with beans. I put some carrots in it too. The next time I pick carrots, I'll add it to that bag too. So it'll be sort of like the peas and carrots that you get at the store, but it'll really just be noodle beans and carrots for spiking my food with midwinter to get more fiber in it. So the other thing, I was walking to the grocery store yesterday. One of them is walkable. So one of the people there, so I struck up a conversation with her, and she said, "Oh, we had cedar disease, and all of my trees have galls on them, the pears, and they'll go after stone fruits and everything else too." And I was thinking in my mind, cedar trellis rust? So I kind of looked it up a little bit online yesterday when I got back home after having that conversation, and it seems like cedar trellis rust either attacks apples or pears or both of them or something. And then it doesn't attack stone fruits. The stone fruits get a different disease. So I'm wondering if she doesn't have just like all of the diseases in her yard, and maybe all of the trees that I ordered are ill-fated. But I guess I'll find out. And I'm glad that I got the jujubes, because I don't know if those have any diseases, but if they do, then hopefully it's not circulating here. And what else? I think most of what I got is pretty disease-free, but if it isn't, then I guess I can just reorder new stuff that is. But I mean, I guess I'll find out, right? When you plant stuff out, that's how you find out if it'll grow or not. Sort of like the pomegranate. I don't expect the one that's still in the ground now to survive the winter again like the last one. I mean, I tried, right? And it didn't work out, so I'll try something else. Okay, the loud neighbor decided to start playing their loud baseball game or whatever it is in their backyard again, and I'm gonna go back inside to the quiet. This is a bit of a long diatribe anyway, so maybe next week we'll look at those noodle beans. Okay, till next week.